Good evening and welcome to Reality Check, where we dig beneath the headlines to bring you the full story. I'm Ramna Saeed, and tonight four major developments are shaping our world, from geopolitics and aviation to digital crime and global narcotics. Pakistan has made history by shutting its skies to Indian aircraft for the entire year of 2026, forcing airlines into longer, costlier detours and setting an unprecedented record in modern aviation. Across the globe, Europe has drawn a firm line against the US pressure, rejecting Donald Trump's attempts to leverage tariffs over Greenland and defending sovereignty in one of the sharpest transatlantic standoffs in the recent years. Meanwhile, a stark reminder of the digital age's danger comes from the UK, where a couple lost around 315,000 US dollars in a silent crypto heist, showing how even visible assets on the blockchain can vanish instantly. And finally, the world's spotlight turns to India. Yes, it's exposed for its growing global narcotics hub, where the systemic failures in pharma, sports, and law enforcement are fueling both domestic addiction and international drug networks. From borders in the skies to borders at sea, from political standoffs to cyber threats and narco networks, tonight's stories reveal how security, sovereignty, and stability are under pressure on multiple fronts. Let's dive in. This is Reality Check and let's begin. Let's start. Pakistan locks its skies for India in 2026, making aviation history. Pakistan has shut its skies for Indian origin aircraft for the entire year of 2026, turning a political decision into an aviation record. Experts say this is now the longest uninterrupted airspace ban ever imposed between two major flying nations in modern era. The restriction, first introduced during political and security tension, has rolled into another year with no relief in sight. All Indian registered aircraft, including passenger cargo and chartered flights, remain barred from crossing Pakistani airspace. In the air, the impact is dramatic. Indian airlines are forced to take long detours over the Arabian Sea, the Middle East, and Central Asia. Flights are burning more fuel, staying longer in the air, and costing airlines billions of rupees. Yes, billions of rupees. Some long-haul routes now take up to 2 hours extra, pushing crew limits and aircraft schedules on the edge. However, on the ground, the ripple effects are also being felt by the passengers. Airlines have reshuffled timetables, raised fares on selected routes, and quietly cut frequencies. Aviation analysts note that Pakistan sits on one of the South Asia's most critical east-west air corridors, making the closure especially painful for Indian flights to Europe, North America, and the Gulf. While Indian carriers absorb the losses, Pakistan continues to earn overflight revenue from non-Indian airlines that still uses its airspace. Officials insist the move is driven by national interest and security priorities. Global aviation observers say that 2026 extension has turned the ban into the case study of how geopolitics can permanently reshape air travel. With no diplomatic breakthrough on the horizon, South Asia's skies look set to stay divided for the foreseeable future. Europe to Trump. We will not be blackmailed over Greenland. European leaders have sent a blunt message to Washington after United States President Donald Trump threatened sweeping tariffs over Greenland, declaring that Europe will not be blackmailed. Denmark's Prime Minister said Europe would stand firm as the United States warned it could impose a new trade taxes on 8 close allies, including Denmark, Germany, France, UK, and the Nordic countries if they oppose a proposed US takeover of Greenland. Trump has argued that Greenland is vital for the American security and has refused to rule out using force. The remarks triggered alarm across Europe, with the affected countries issuing a joint statement, warning that tariff threats could push relations into a dangerous downward spiral. The statement stressed full solidarity with Denmark and the people of Greenland and also reaffirmed commitment to Arctic security as a shared NATO responsibility. European leaders said dialogue must be based on respect for sovereignty and territorial integrity. Frederiksen said, Europe wants cooperation, not conflict, but warned that core European values cannot be compromised under pressure. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer also entered the diplomatic push, holding calls with European leaders, NATO chief Mark, and later speaking to Trump. His office said tariffs against allies for collective security efforts are wrong. Trump has threatened a 10% tariff starting in February with the possibility of raising it to 25% until a deal is reached. He claims Greenland's strategic location and resources make it critical for US defense, especially in the Arctic region. European officials counter that respect for borders and sovereignty is non-negotiable under international law. With tensions rising, the Greenland dispute is quickly turning into one of the sharpest transatlantic standoffs in the recent years. Now let's talk about the breaking crypto nightmare where UK couple loses around 315,000 US dollar in a silent cyber heist. Helen and Richard, a UK couple, watched helplessly as hackers drained their 7-year investment, sending 315,000 US dollars straight into criminal wallets. Yes, every transaction was visible on the blockchain, yet completely untouchable. Helen described it as watching a burglar pile up your possessions across an impassable chasm. The theft is part of a growing global wave of crypto crimes. In 2025 alone, over 3.4 billion US dollars were stolen worldwide, with attacks on individuals doubling from 40,000 US dollars in 2022 to 80,000 US dollars in last year. Experts warn that unlike traditional banking, crypto offers no safety net for private investors. High-profile cases in Europe and the UK show the lengths thieves will go to, including abductions and coercion. Helen and Richard are now planning to hire private investigators to trace the hackers. But the reality remains stark. Owning cryptocurrency is high risk, and even careful investors can fall victim into relentless, evolving cybercrimes. This surge in crypto theft highlights a critical truth for investors. Digital money may be visible to the world, but once it's stolen, it is gone forever. Let's be blunt. India is no longer fighting the drug war, it is fueling it. Behind the headlines of record seizures, here is the truth. India has shifted from a transit route to a full-scale global narco hub. What the state sells as success is a proof of collapse. Porous ports, weak oversight, and unregulated pharmaceutical industry have turned the country into a launch pad for global drug networks. Yes, you heard it right. Mundra Port is not a victory story. It is a warning. What gets seized is only a fraction of what escapes. Gujarat and Maharashtra's ports now function as a drug corridor, not just the trade gateways. The pharmacy of the world narrative has also imploded. International seizures repeatedly trace synthetic drugs and precursor chemicals back to India. This is industrial scale diversion, not leakage, but driven by profit and protected by regulatory failure. The damage is now internal. Addiction is exploding, youth are trapped, and opioid abuse is devastating the communities. Rising seizures alongside rising addiction expose the lie of enforcement success. This is no longer policing problem. It is a national implosion with global consequences. From ports to pharma plants, narcotics move with ease. This is not negligence anymore. This is normalized failure, and India is paying the price at home while exporting the damage abroad. From Pakistan's bold airspace decision to Europe standing up to the global pressure, from the stark risks of the crypto world to India's systemic narco failures, the patterns are clear. The world is increasingly interconnected yet dangerously fragile. Borders, whether in the sky or across the Arctic, in digital space or along global trade routes, are becoming battlegrounds of strategy, law, and security. These stories remind us that policies, vigilance, and accountability matter more than ever because the ripple effects of inaction are felt far beyond national boundaries. Stay informed and stay alert. Keep watching as we continue to track the events shaping not just nations but the future of our global world. Thank you for watching Reality Check. We will continue to follow these developments closely and bring you the facts as they evolve. I'm Ramna Saeed. Take care and see you in the next episode.